On this day, we come together to celebrate the lives, legacies, and cherished memories of remarkable personalities we've recently lost. We take a moment to reflect on their incredible journeys and the inspiration they continue to give us. We'll also talk about WWE stars who are facing struggles that have drawn love, support, and prayers from millions of fans. Subscribe now and be part of our family that keeps their stories alive. Terry Funk, born Terrence Funk on June 30th, 1944, in Hammond, Indiana, wasn't just a wrestler. He was a force of nature whose spirit helped define an entire era of professional wrestling. Passing away at the age of 79, Funk left behind a legacy that stretched across more than 5 decades and countless generations of fans and wrestlers who admired his unmatched toughness, creativity, and heart. Raised in a true wrestling family, Terry was practically born into the business. His father, Dory Funk Sr., was a respected wrestler and promoter, while his brother, Dory Funk Jr., also became a world champion. For Terry, wrestling wasn't just a job, it was in his blood. He began his career in 1965, working in his father's promotion, where his raw energy and technical skills quickly set him apart. Just a decade later, in 1975, Funk achieved one of the sport's greatest honors when he defeated Jack Briscoe to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. That victory marked him as one of the best all-around performers of his time, someone who could grapple with the finest technicians or brawl with the toughest fighters. As the years went on, Funk reinvented himself in ways few wrestlers ever dared. In the 1980s and 1990s, he became a pioneer of what came to be known as hardcore wrestling, a brutal, no-holds-barred style that pushed physical limits and redefined what fans expected from the sport. His matches in All Japan Pro Wrestling, ECW, WCW, and WWF became legendary for their intensity and chaos. Whether fighting Ric Flair in a classic rivalry or bleeding his heart out in front of an ECW crowd, Funk proved that passion mattered more than age or pain. Beyond the ring, Terry's rugged charm and cowboy persona earned him fans around the world. He appeared in Hollywood films like Roadhouse and Over the Top, showing that his charisma wasn't confined to the squared circle. Inducted into numerous halls of fame, including the WWE Hall of Fame in 2009, Terry Funk will forever be remembered as a trailblazer, a man who gave everything to wrestling and inspired countless others to do the same. Paul Reubens, the man who brought joy to millions as the unforgettable Pee-wee Herman, passed away a year ago, leaving behind a legacy built on laughter, kindness, and creativity. Though most people remember him as the quirky, bow-tied character with an infectious giggle, Reubens was far more than just Pee-wee. He was a gifted performer, a generous soul, and a man whose humor touched audiences of every age. Born Paul Rubenfeld on August 27, 1952, in Peekskill, New York, Reubens discovered his passion for performing early in life. That passion led him to join the Groundlings, a famed Los Angeles improv troupe that became the birthplace of Pee-wee Herman. What began as a quirky stage act soon evolved into a cultural phenomenon. Pee-wee's Big Adventure, 1985, directed by Tim Burton, catapulted the character into stardom, while Pee-wee's Playhouse turned Saturday mornings into a wonderland of color, imagination, and laughter. The show's whimsical design and surreal humor made it beloved by both children and adults, and earned Reubens critical acclaim for creating something truly original. Beyond the bright lights and eccentric costumes, those who knew Reubens often spoke about his warmth and humility. He was known for his quiet generosity, always taking the time to show kindness to others, whether they were fans or colleagues. that gentle spirit carried into every project he touched. One of his most unexpected and most memorable appearances came in 2010, when Reubens brought Pee-wee Herman to WWE's Monday Night Raw. In true Pee-wee fashion, he turned the wrestling ring into a playground of laughter, trading jokes with WWE superstars and proving once again that his humor could light up any stage, no matter how unlikely. Paul Reubens' passing marked the end of an era, but his spirit continues to live on through the joy he spread. His work reminded the world that imagination has no age limit, and that laughter is one of life's greatest gifts. For generations to come, fans will continue to smile, laugh, and remember the man who taught us all that being a little weird can be absolutely wonderful. José Lothario, born on December 12, 1933, was much more than a wrestler. He was a pioneer whose passion, skill, and mentorship helped shape generations of professional wrestling. A proud Mexican native, Lothario began his athletic journey in the early 1950s, excelling both as a boxer and as a luchador. His blend of grace and grit quickly made him stand out in Mexico's vibrant wrestling scene. In 1957, he crossed into the United States to chase bigger dreams, initially competing under the name Joe Garcia, before earning the title that would define him, El Gran Lothario. His ring style reflected his boxing roots, with precise strikes and fearless resilience. He became known for his ability to thrive in brutal brass knuckles and taped fist matches, earning the admiration of fans and fellow wrestlers alike. Even the legendary Dusty Rhodes once called him one of the finest Latin American wrestlers to ever step into the ring. A true babyface who connected with the audience through heart and authenticity. During his time with the National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, Lothario built a career filled with remarkable moments. He once achieved a winning streak that surpassed 50 consecutive matches, a testament to both his talent and consistency. On Christmas Day in 1970, he captured the NWA Florida Tag Team Championship alongside Danny Miller, a victory celebrated by fans across the territory. His intense rivalries with stars like Gino Hernandez and El Gran Marcus became the stuff of wrestling folklore, and his matches with icons such as Mil Mascaras often packed arenas across Texas and Florida. Yet perhaps Lothario's most lasting contribution came outside the ring. In the 1980s, he took a young Shawn Michaels under his wing, shaping him into one of the most iconic performers in WWE history. Years later, he proudly stood in Michaels' corner when he won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 12, a full-circle moment that defined their bond. José Lothario passed away peacefully at the age of 84, leaving behind a rich legacy of passion, mentorship, and respect. To fans and wrestlers alike, he remains El Gran Lothario, the man whose influence continues to echo through the world of wrestling. Sara Lee, born on June 7, 1992, in Hope Township, Michigan, was a talented and determined young woman whose dream of becoming a professional wrestler captured the hearts of many. Growing up in a small town, she was known for her down-to-earth nature, her love for fitness, and her unshakable work ethic. Before wrestling came into her life, Sara was an athlete through and through, spending her early years competing in powerlifting and embracing the physical challenges that would one day prepare her for the ring. Her big break came in 2015 when she auditioned for WWE's reality competition show, Tough Enough. Despite facing tough competition and moments of self-doubt, Sara's authenticity, perseverance, and quiet confidence helped her stand out. Viewers were drawn to her humble attitude and genuine personality. She wasn't the loudest or flashiest contestant, but her hard work spoke for itself. When she was announced as the winner of the season, Earning a WWE contract, it felt like a victory not only for her, but for everyone who saw themselves in her story. Proof that determination and heart could overcome even the steepest odds. During her time in WWE, Sara performed under her real name and began training at the company's performance center, honing her craft and working tirelessly to improve. She competed in various live events, showcasing her growing strength and potential. Though her wrestling career was still developing, her positivity and humility made her beloved among fans and peers alike. Away from the spotlight, Sara was a devoted wife and mother, known for her warmth, kindness, and laughter. Those who knew her best described her as someone who always put others first, even while chasing her own dreams. Tragically, in October 2022, Sara's life was cut short at just 30 years old. Her sudden passing sent shockwaves through the wrestling community, with friends, fans, and fellow wrestlers paying heartfelt tributes to her memory. Sara Lee's legacy lives on not only through her time in WWE, but also through the light she brought into the lives of others. A reminder of the beauty of chasing your dreams with courage, humility, and heart. Tracy Smothers was more than just a wrestler. He was the embodiment of heart, grit, and passion that defined the golden eras of professional wrestling. Born on September 2, 1962, in Springfield, Tennessee, Smothers grew up with a deep love for sports and showmanship. That love eventually led him into the world of professional wrestling in the mid-1980s, where he quickly built a reputation as one of the most hard-working and charismatic performers of his time. From the moment he stepped into the ring, Smothers captured audiences with his energy and versatility. Whether he was wrestling for World Championship Wrestling, WCW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW, or the World Wrestling Federation, WWF now, WWE, he brought a rare blend of athleticism, humor, and heart that made him stand out. Fans appreciated that he didn't just perform, he connected. He could make them laugh one minute and get them on their feet, cheering the next. Smothers found great success in both singles and tag team competition. His partnerships, especially with Steve Armstrong as part of the Southern Boys, later the Young Pistols, became highlights of his career. Together, they brought an exciting mix of high-flying action and Southern charm to wrestling audiences across the country. Later, Smothers teamed with Chris Candido and other notable names, continuing to show his adaptability and love for storytelling inside the ring. But Tracy Smothers' impact didn't stop when the lights dimmed or the bell rang. He was a natural mentor, a teacher with decades of wisdom and an open heart. Countless young wrestlers looked up to him, learning not only the technical side of the sport, but also the respect, discipline, and passion it demanded. In 2020, after a brave fight with cancer, Tracy Smothers passed away at the age of 58. His loss was deeply felt throughout the wrestling community, but his spirit endures in every performer who steps through the ropes with the same fearless determination he once showed. To fans and peers alike, Smothers wasn't just a wrestler, he was family, a storyteller, and a reminder of what makes wrestling so special: the people who give it their all, night after night. Luis Martinez, known to the world as Damian Priest, was born on September 26, 1982, in New York City, to a family deeply rooted in Puerto Rican culture and traditions. Growing up, Priest found himself navigating two worlds: the urban energy of New York and the soulful rhythms of Puerto Rico, where he spent much of his youth. These early years shaped his dual identity: part street fighter, part dreamer. His parents worked tirelessly to make ends meet, instilling in him a strong sense of work ethic and perseverance. Priest was drawn to combat sports early on, inspired by martial arts, boxing, and professional wrestling. While many of his peers turned to safer paths, he found solace and meaning in the physical discipline of training. His imposing frame, deep voice, and natural charisma set him apart even as a teenager. And though the road ahead was uncertain, there was something magnetic about him. An aura of quiet strength that hinted at what he might become. The road to wrestling and the Monster Factory. Priest's professional wrestling journey began with a dream that seemed almost impossible at first. Like many aspiring wrestlers, he faced financial challenges and skepticism from those around him. Yet, with relentless determination, he enrolled at the legendary Monster Factory in New Jersey, a training ground that had produced generations of professional wrestling stars. Under the guidance of seasoned trainers, Priest learned not only the technical side of wrestling, but also the psychology and storytelling that define the art form. The early years were hard. He lived modestly, often juggling odd jobs to afford training fees, travel expenses, and equipment. He drove long hours between small-town wrestling shows, performing in front of handfuls of fans for little pay. But every match, no matter how small, refined his craft. His towering height of 6 feet 5 inches and his agile yet powerful in-ring style drew comparisons to both classic big men and modern hybrid athletes. Over time, Luis Martinez became Damian Priest, a persona forged in the dark corners of small arenas, representing the duality of pain and pride. Main roster debut and the rise of a star Priest's transition to WWE's main roster marked the beginning of a new chapter. He made an immediate impression alongside international superstar Bad Bunny at WrestleMania 37, a partnership that elevated him to mainstream visibility. The chemistry between them brought Priest's charisma to a wider audience, and suddenly, he wasn't just an NXT graduate, he was a legitimate star. WWE capitalized on his momentum, placing him in high-profile storylines and title pursuits. Yet, fame came with its own challenges. The expectations grew heavier, the schedules became more brutal, and the physical demands intensified. Still, Priest thrived, showing an ability to adapt to the changing nature of WWE programming. His balance of athleticism and storytelling, combined with his natural connection to fans, solidified his place as one of WWE's rising forces. The Judgment Day era and Inner Tension's Priest's alignment with the Judgment Day, alongside Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio, was a turning point in his career. The faction quickly became one of WWE's most dominant and captivating storylines, embodying rebellion, power, and darkness. Priest, often positioned as the group's stoic enforcer, played his role to perfection. Yet, as the group gained popularity, rumors of creative differences and backstage uncertainty began to surface. Reports claimed that Priest's growing ambition for a solo world title run clashed with WWE's plans to keep the group unified. While WWE never confirmed any internal tension, the narrative of Damian Priest as a man caught between loyalty and ambition resonated deeply with fans. In truth, the situation reflected something real. Priest's desire to be recognized as more than a faction member, to stand as a singular force capable of leading WWE's main event scene. This period tested his patience and professionalism, as creative changes often disrupted his momentum. But through it all, he maintained composure, showing respect for his peers while quietly continuing to prove himself in the ring. World Heavyweight Championship triumph. The culmination of Priest's journey came when he captured the World Heavyweight Championship, a moment that represented both personal triumph and professional validation. For a man who had fought his way up from tiny gyms and small-town arenas, this was the ultimate reward. The night he won the title, the arena erupted, and for once the spotlight belonged solely to him. His reign, however, came during a complicated period. WWE was undergoing creative transitions, and new stars were constantly emerging. Priest's title run was met with mixed creative direction. At times, he was presented as a dominant champion. At others, his storylines felt secondary. Yet, through every challenge, he carried himself with quiet dignity, embodying what a champion should be: composed, resilient, and grateful. Behind the scenes, however, his body was beginning to show signs of strain. Health struggles and the cost of greatness. Damian Priest's physical struggles are no secret. Years of punishing matches and high-impact performances have left him battling chronic knee pain and recurring lower back issues. Insiders have noted that Priest has been working through discomfort for much of the past year, refusing to take extended time off despite recommendations. WWE's medical team has cleared him to compete, but concerns remain. Fans have noticed subtle changes: a slower pace in matches, moments where he favors certain moves less often, and visible signs of fatigue. For a man of Priest's pride, admitting vulnerability is not easy. Yet, those close to him say he is deeply aware of his body's limits and has begun adjusting his training and travel schedule accordingly. The physical pain is compounded by the emotional pressure of being a world champion, the responsibility to deliver every night, regardless of how he feels. Priest has spoken in interviews about his gratitude for being in this position, but has also hinted at the difficulty of balancing fame, physical endurance, and mental peace. Like many athletes, he walks a fine line between pushing his limits and preserving his longevity, financial stability, and career outlook. Despite the physical strain, Priest's position in WWE today is financially stable. Having signed a multi-year deal with WWE, he has secured his place among the upper tier of earners in the company. His championship run, merchandise sales, and pay-per-view appearances have given him financial comfort. A far cry from the days when he struggled to pay for gas to get to small-town wrestling shows. However, with stability comes new questions about the future. Insiders have suggested that Priest has been approached by entertainment agencies regarding acting roles, particularly in action and fantasy genres. His look, voice, and presence make him a natural fit for Hollywood's current fascination with larger-than-life figures. While he has not made any public statements about leaving WWE, those close to him indicate that he is open to exploring new opportunities when the time is right. For now, his focus remains on staying healthy and maintaining his legacy in WWE. But it's clear that Priest is thinking long-term, both professionally and financially. The move to SmackDown and a new chapter. In 2025, following the latest WWE draft, Damian Priest was moved from Raw to SmackDown, a brand known for revitalizing careers and giving wrestlers fresh creative direction. The move was seen as a chance for Priest to reinvent himself yet again, this time as a more balanced performer, blending his dark charisma with a more human, relatable side. His ongoing storyline has explored redemption, resilience, and leadership, qualities that mirror his real-life journey. Fans have slowly warmed up to his evolving persona, even as debates continue about whether WWE should return him to his darker, anti-hero roots. Priest's new role on SmackDown has also allowed him to compete with new opponents and re-establish himself as a major attraction. Yet, it also brings a new level of scrutiny. Can he maintain top-level performance while managing his physical limitations? For now, Priest seems determined to prove that his story is far from over. Fans' divided opinions and emotional connection. Damian Priest's evolution has divided fans. Some prefer the stoic, gothic anti-hero, while others have embraced his transformation into a more humanized babyface. Social media polls show fluctuating opinions, reflecting the complexity of his character. But what's undeniable is the respect he commands. Even critics acknowledge that Priest has earned everything through persistence, humility, and authenticity. Fans who followed him from his indie days take pride in seeing him succeed, while newer fans are drawn to his quiet strength and sincerity. He isn't the loudest or flashiest superstar, but his aura, that mixture of confidence and mystery, keeps people invested. Priest's story reminds fans that wrestling is not only about winning titles, but about perseverance, identity, and the courage to evolve. Life beyond the ring, mind, balance, and future. Hopes outside of wrestling, Damian Priest maintains a private, disciplined lifestyle. He has often spoken about his love for music, martial arts, and travel, passions that help him find balance in a world that never slows down. Friends and colleagues describe him as grounded, loyal, and reflective. The years of pain, both physical and emotional, have given him perspective on what truly matters. He often encourages younger wrestlers to take care of their mental health, something he himself has had to prioritize in recent years. The constant travel, pressure to perform, and online scrutiny can take a toll, but Priest has learned to focus on gratitude. Gratitude for the fans who believe in him, for the family who supported him, and for the chance to do what he loves. There is a calmness in his presence now, a maturity that comes from having faced hardship and survived it. Hollywood rumors and the expanding horizon. As whispers grow about Hollywood's interest in Damian Priest, the prospect of seeing him on the big screen doesn't seem far-fetched. Casting directors have reportedly taken note of his look, his deep voice, and his screen presence. Qualities perfect for roles in superhero, action, or supernatural films. While WWE remains his priority, Priest's management has reportedly facilitated meetings with entertainment executives in Los Angeles. If his injuries ever force him to step away from the ring, film or television could provide a natural transition. WWE itself appears to be supportive of this potential crossover, recognizing that Priest's marketability could benefit both parties. Fans, too, seem intrigued by the idea, imagining the World Heavyweight Champion stepping into roles that showcase his charisma in new ways. For Priest, though, the focus remains the same: to tell stories that connect, whether inside a wrestling ring or in front of a camera. Legacy, reflection, and the road ahead. As Damian Priest continues his journey, his story stands as one of perseverance, evolution, and quiet strength. From a young Puerto Rican kid in New York chasing a dream, to a world champion battling through pain and doubt, his life mirrors the very essence of professional wrestling: struggle, resilience, and redemption. There are no guarantees in this industry. Champions come and go, storylines change overnight, and the crowd's love can be fickle. But what endures is authenticity, and that's what Damian Priest represents. He is not a manufactured superstar. He is a man who fought for every inch of his success. Whether his next chapter leads to more championship gold, new creative directions, or a future beyond WWE, one thing is certain: he has already carved a place in the hearts of fans who value passion over perfection. Conclusion: the Warrior's path forward. Damian Priest's current chapter in WWE is both promising and uncertain, a paradox that defines most great stories. He has the title, the recognition, and the respect of his peers, but he also faces the relentless realities of time, injury, and creative evolution. His back and knees may ache, but his spirit remains unbroken. Financially secure yet still hungry for more, Priest stands at the crossroads of legacy and reinvention. The world will continue to watch as he walks that fine line between light and shadow. A performer who has endured pain, criticism, and doubt, only to rise stronger each time. What makes Damian Priest's story powerful is not just his triumphs, but his resilience in the face of uncertainty. His path has never been easy, but it has always been his own. And as he steps into the next phase of his life and career, one truth rings louder than ever. Damian Priest is not finished. He is only evolving. A warrior in every sense, still walking through the fire, still proving that greatness is not given, but earned, one battle at a time.